Hey guys, this is Andy's Kitchen, and I'm Andy, and today I got a good one for you. This is my homemade chili. I love making this, especially in the fall. First thing you do, you've got your meat here. We're going to take 5 pounds. I like to do a mix of either ground beef and turkey or ground beef and venison. You can go all turkey if you want, but I do like a little bit of contrast for a different texture in it. So first thing we want to do, we want to just add all that meat into the bowl and get that cooking. Now, you want to sit there and just brown your meat only. So we're going to turn this on, get it going, put it on about a medium heat so we don't burn anything. And once it's brown, you strain it. So while this is browning, guys, you want to make sure that you're breaking the meat up, getting it in smaller chunks, and that helps to cook it a whole lot faster also. So just kind of get in here, break everything down, mix it all up, and keep stirring it every minute or two until you see no more pink. All right, so now you want to take your 2 large onions and you just want to cut them in about 1/4 inch strips. It doesn't have to be perfect, and then just do a simple dice on it. Not too big, and you can't cut them too small. They're going to disappear anyway. But the bigger they are, the harder it takes for them to cook down. So just get a nice coarse chop on them, nice dice, and go from there. Okay, so now you want to take your jalapenos, and we want to do the same thing. We want to put a little dice on them, but we want to go ahead and take the seeds out of them. So you want to cut them in half, and kind of get in there and cut that little inside bit out. Shake those seeds out. Do it on all of them. That out of there. Try and keep those seeds to the side, and then just kind of mash it down, get it flat, cut it in little strips. Okay, so now that we've got our beef or our meat browned and all of our ingredients ready, we want to go ahead and strain all this fat out of here. Now there are a few ways to do this. The easiest way I've found is to just pour it into a strainer, into a sink or something, but make sure you're doing this over a bowl so you don't have all that grease just going down your drain and clogging up your drain. That can lead to some real issues. And it doesn't have to be perfectly strained. A little fat doesn't hurt anybody. But once you got that out, I'm going to give it a little shake here. Get the majority of that out of there. Okay, and you just add her on back in. Okay, now we got that. That's ready to go. So we put this back up on the heat and we start adding all of our ingredients. Okay, so now all we want to do essentially is add everything in together. It doesn't matter in order, just start pouring. Now the onions, we want to add most of them, but save maybe a half of an onion or so for the about an hour before it's done. Go ahead and add all those jalapenos in there. Add all your spices. We got about a tablespoon or so, a tablespoon and a half of chili powder here. I think it's actually 1 1/3, about 4 bay leaves. We got a tablespoon of garlic powder, a tablespoon of paprika, a tablespoon of red pepper flake, and about a half a tablespoon of Italian herbs. Get all that in there. Then we've got a tablespoon and a half of salt. We got a tablespoon of fresh ground black pepper. Get that in there. About a half of a tablespoon of cumin there. Good cumin goes a long way. We've got 4 cups of chicken broth. We want to just pour that on in there, like so. Okay. And you want to take your sriracha. It doesn't matter what kind of sriracha. Give it a nice big old squirt. I'm going to say that's probably about 3 or 4 tablespoons, maybe 3. And then we want to take 3 cans of tomato paste. Get all of that tomato paste in there. You really want to make sure you get it all too. And once you've got all that in there, you want to go ahead and mix everything up real good. Just get it all together. Now I'm sure most of you guys have noticed that there are no beans in this chili. That is correct. I do not like beans. So I do not put beans in my chili. If you would like beans in your chili, you can definitely add them. I would go ahead and probably think about adding them towards the middle and letting this cook for a while, because this does take a little while. Okay. Alright, so once you know you've got everything stirred in real good, you want to go ahead and put that on low heat. Let it simmer and go ahead and put a cover on that. Now you want to stir this every 30 minutes to an hour to make sure everything's heating evenly and it's mixing well. You want to cook this for about 2 to 2.5 hours before you add the rest of the onion. Alright, so now our chili's been going for about 2.5 to 3 hours or so. And the consistency's right where we want it to go ahead and add these other onions. Now the other onions that are in here haven't fully disappeared yet, but they're very translucent, and texture-wise they're going to offer you nothing. So that's why we add these other onions. I like to have a little bit more texture and crunch in my chili, and these do that. So we want to add these in there and cook it for about another, let's say 30 or 45 minutes just on low, and we should be good. Okay, so now all the flavors have come together, and you want to go ahead and taste it to see if it needs anything. Every recipe and everyone's palate is different. Okay, that's good. But in my book, it needs a little bit more spice. So we're going to add a little bit more red pepper flake to this. And it needs a little bit more cumin and chili powder to give it that little bit of depth it needs. So just a good sprinkle of cumin. And a good sprinkle of chili powder just to add a little bit more flavor to this. We're going to give it a good stir here. Get those onions all down in there. And we're just going to put a cover back on this and let it simmer for about another 30 to 45 minutes, and she's ready to eat. Alright, so the chili has cooked for another hour. That's about a total of 3.5 to 4 hours. This one is 4 hours right here. You know, it can go a little bit longer if you like your meat to break down a little bit more. I wouldn't cook it any less than that. You can, but it doesn't give enough time for the flavors to kind of blend together. Oh, yes. Alright, so now that it's done, we just want to mix that up. And if you can find these bay leaves that are in there, you want to go ahead and pull those out because those aren't really edible. But just make sure you don't serve them to anybody. And then you want to go ahead and serve your bowl here. You guys should smell this. There's a reason it's award-winning. Alright, so get yourself a nice serving there. Go ahead and get you a dollop. I prefer sour cream, cheese, and green onion on there. If you feel like adding something different, go for it. It doesn't really matter, it's just whatever you prefer. So we'll go ahead, sprinkle a little cheese on there. Oh, yeah. And then get these green onions. And pronto, we've got delicious chili.